I'm Metal Dakoshsa, and this is a very special edition with very special people who are in Goa for the first time in India actually. The upcoming concert that's happening tonight has a lot of expectation. A lot of people are very excited about seeing, what the concert will be about, what they have to share with Goa, their entire experiences, for being one of the world's oldest traditional a cappella group. Most of our listeners in Goa, have all wanted to be out here, but as I said, it's a very exclusive thing. So anyway, great to have you here. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Ike Silver. I am from Los Angeles, California. At Yale University, I study psychology, and I sing tenor 2 with the Whiffenpoofs, which means I'm the second highest voice in the group, and I'm really excited to be here.
I'm Ben Lewis. I'm from Washington, D.C. in the United States. I sing baritone with the group, and I've had about 3 mango lassies already at the hotel in our short stay. And we're very, very excited to be performing tonight, and we hope everyone can join us.
Right.
My name is Nathaniel Dahlquist. I'm a first tenor from Denver, Colorado. At Yale, I study theater. And one of the great things about this getting to sing this year for me is that I get to use this opportunity to sing all over the world as kind of a training for trying to be an actor later in my life. So
great, yeah. So as I said, the Whiffenpoofs of Yale are one of the world's most traditional, oldest a cappella group. We've done a lot of reading. The media has also gone to town with with where you come from and the entire genesis of the group.
Sure.
So could you share that with our listeners and audiences as well?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So the group was founded just over 100 years ago at Yale University, and it actually started out as just 4 guys that went to a bar every week, and they started singing, and their voices worked well together, and they developed an audience, and so they kept it going year after year and passed it down, and eventually the group expanded to about 10 and then 13, and now it's 14 people that travel around the world every year, and we're actually going to 27 countries this year.
That's right, yes.
And so for our part, we started in August. We met up on a retreat in Boston, and we rehearsed a ton because we were preparing for a concert just at the end of that week, and now we've got about 50 songs that we've learned, and just in the last week we were in Cape Town, Dubai, and Kathmandu, and then we're actually spending a full week in India just because as a group we decided that we really wanted to get a chance to know the country and to get to sing here.
Right, yeah, great. So you arrived last night, yesterday?
Yeah, just last night, yeah, we were greeted by the hotel in the best possible way with coconut oil and necklaces, and then they gave us maybe the best meal we've had on tour so far, and we have just had an incredible time already, and it's amazing to see it raining so heavily in 15 minutes and then so sunny and beautiful 15 minutes later.
Right,
but
yeah.
It's especially beautiful here at the North 16 Hotel. They've been so welcoming
So
to us,
wonderful,
and
yeah.
and it's been, I mean, we've been all over the world this year, as Ben said, and this is probably the warmest welcome we've had.
Oh, that's really good to know. Yeah, because as you know, Goa has a very old 500 tradition kind of, left behind by the Portuguese. So we are one of the most hospitable, states in the country, and I'm sure in the world as well.
Oh, sure.
Yes, exactly, yeah, because wherever I travel to, I say I'm a Goan first, and then I'm an Indian, and the response is so spontaneously, happy. So it's good. It's good. So yeah, so going back to the entire tradition of how the group came together and stuff like that, it's predominantly a very male group from what I see. Why no women?
Yeah, it's actually a really tough question. So when the Whiffenpoofs were founded in 1909, Yale University was an all-male university, as many universities in the United States were.
That's right.
And in 1969, women came to Yale and became a part of many of Yale's traditions, and they had sports teams and they had extracurricular activities, and many of the things that were predominantly male began to sort of integrate and become co-ed. There are sort of 2 main reasons why the Whiffenpoofs have remained an all-male group, one of which I find more compelling than the other. Of course, we'll see what happens in the future as to whether or not the group eventually integrates. But they're this. The first one is that there's a sense that an all-male choral sound has a very specific sort of a very specific sound that has been around for a long time. And one of the things about the Whiffenpoof brand that I think makes us unique is that we have a sort of nostalgic, old-timey kind of sound, and people tend to think that is in part because it comes from this tradition of all-male singing. The better reason, in my opinion, is that there actually is a tremendously talented all-female group who is our counterpart called Women Rhythm, and they do the same thing we do. They travel all over the world. Their music is as excellent as ours is. And they get the chance to basically show the world what Yale women have to offer. And so, as opposed to having one group that has both, Yale has the special privilege of getting to have two very talented groups that get to go out and represent all over the world.
Yeah. And just to speak a little bit more to that, the groups just have the ability, because they're in a different makeup, have the ability to tell different stories. So one of my favorite songs from Women Rhythm, the all-female senior group at Yale, is their song that they used to close every show, which is called the Hammond Song. Okay. And it tells the story about two sisters who try to convince their third sister not to leave school to go run off and chase a boy. And so that song, which is wonderful and extremely moving, would it would be less emotionally compelling if it was told by an all-male a cappella group. And so that we definitely are so privileged to perform with them when we perform at all sorts of Yale events with Women Rhythm. And it's possible, yeah, in the future, as sort of the more people go through Yale with going with guys and girls, that there'll be more discussions had on whether just to create a different group or to create a co-educational group. But for now, we're extremely lucky to have two groups that are able to tell such great stories.
A cappella is a very niche genre as well. It's not like pop, rock, which is common ground. Everyone understands it. But this requires a certain sensibility and a certain understanding of what's really going on. Correct?
Sure. Yeah.
So the from whatever I've read as well, the name has the way the name got put together. I understand it's a mythological dragonfish, correct? Yeah.
That's right.
And I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, correct. So could you tell us something about a little bit of that too?
Sure. The Whiffenpoof is a name that they decided they wanted to name the group over 100 years ago.
Correct.
And it's from
why specifically that particular name?
Yeah, and it's from a Kipling poem. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so there was one of the group members really loved this Kipling poem and wondered, well, what is a Whiffenpoof? And nobody actually really knows.
Yeah,
it's in the poem, but nobody's really sure what it was. And so they kind of developed this dragonfish to kind of be a symbol of the group and name the group after that, just to add an air of like levity and kind of silliness to something that might otherwise be tempted to take itself rather too seriously. So we integrate a little bit of humor into our performances, and so it's an adequate and like appropriate name for kind of what we're about.
Yeah. I mean, I found it very interesting, the story as well. So yeah, here we are. Yeah, correct. Okay, so tell me your expectations of tonight and what kind of musical repertoire do you have to share?
Definitely. Well, I have extremely high expectations for us tonight, I hope. And I'm sure we'll give the best concert we can. But the Whiffenpoofs are extremely lucky because since it has 100 years of music, there's an extremely wide diversity of repertoire that we can bring to a concert. So we have songs that were written 100 years ago, some of the original Whiffenpoof stuff that we like to bring up and show the tradition. Then we have songs from the 1950s and 1960s where there's some just tremendously great American jazz that came about, and then sort of as the decades go on it gets a little more complicated, a little more layered, and it brings us to some of the more contemporary pop numbers.
Right, correct.
So we try to
make it more appealing to the
to make it more
audiences.
accessible, and we try to feel out the audience and see what they're looking for, but we're not only lucky in that we have 100 years of music to bring to the table, but since every member of the group comes from a different background, some come from jazz, some come from pop, some come from more choral.
Correct.
We really allow the group to stand out and to play to the strengths of the singers. And since we have such a flexible repertoire, you really get to see the Whiffenpoofs at the top of their game as
I'm looking
soloists
forward
as well.
to it. So. I'm looking forward to it.
And if you have any requests, you should let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll get
All
to
right,
work.
go see. Yeah, they're very clear. If you have any requests, you should, probably SMS it to us.
Yeah.
And be taken forward. Okay, great. You're in Goa. You're technically in my state. Okay, yeah. So, have you been able to see something around? Have you been able to? I'm sure you've had a good, food experience already.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you been able to listen to any Goan music?
That's actually a good question. One of the things that greeted us when we got off the bus when we were here was a duo of local Goan musicians, one who played the violin and one who played guitar. And they were awesome. They played us some music right away. Of course, we've only been here for, I guess, one night, so we haven't had the chance so much to venture out into the town. But this afternoon we actually have plans to head out, check out the shore, maybe check out some of the restaurants, some of the more historical architecture from the when it was a Portuguese colony. I understand there's some beautiful churches, so we're hoping to do that. And then obviously we want to take care of our voices, so we'll probably just keep it a little bit relaxed today, and then after our concert tonight we'll probably end up
Party?
going out on the town to see what we can find. If you have any
then
recommendations, you let us know.
you should join us because because a whole lot of stuff that that I could recommend.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're in my town technically, so and the place where the hotel is the party hub of Goa.
Well, that's
So you have all your
Great.
clubbing and pubbing happening back to back. So that's how it is.
We don't have any
We'll see you
concerts
there,
tomorrow,
yeah.
so we'll take a.
And I kind of wish we were getting to stay for a little longer, because I've done a lot of research on things like the Ram Festival and like all kinds of things that I wish that we got to spend some really quality time here so that we could meet more of the people and get to explore the Goa, but also the whole country, because it's such a rich culture and a rich history, and it doesn't feel like we can't really fully appreciate
Correct.
the diversity and the great strength and history and wonderful culture and music of everything of this place by only being here for a couple of days.
What do you do besides what you do? Is it like a whole-time career? Do you have time for things that you like to do? Do you have active hobbies that you pursue?
Yeah, great question. So for the year, we take the year off and we're traveling all across the world. So it is a pretty high commitment. And what we try to do mostly is just to capture some of those experiences that give a little taste of the country, even though we can't really obviously get the full picture. So for example, when we were in South Africa, we gave a concert, and then the next day we made a commitment as a group to just have a very full day, and we hiked Table Mountain in Cape Town. We then went to see an enclave of African penguins, and then we ended the day at sunset at the Cape of Good Hope. So we really sort of try to spend our most time getting the most full experience we can, and so it does take a lot of energy beyond the singing. Aside from that, we all come from different backgrounds and have different hobbies. I think there are only two music majors in the group, so it's actually mostly just a hobby, or a very committed hobby for a lot of us. And I think though Nathaniel is going to go into theater,
Okay.
I'm a political science major, so this may be the last time that I'm really singing in a capacity like this in my life.
Grounded to study.
Yeah, that's right, and then come back to study.
When we're on campus, before we started our travels, we had this very funny schedule where we would have these mini tours that would take maybe we'd go to Washington, D.C. for 5 days, or we'd go to Los Angeles for 2 weeks. And in between those times, we would have a week of like just total free time because we're taking a hiatus from school. And so I think many of us got to take that opportunity to pursue some stuff that we might not otherwise be able to do when we're students. Like I've been learning how to play the guitar, so I've been like practicing guitar every day on the days that we're not singing. Or maybe some of us have jobs that are helping us set up for our next year of studies, or for our future careers, whether that's doing scientific research, or working in a library, or working in various capacities all over campus. Yeah.